freaking thing about growing back curly hair is you end up with absolute craziness when it grows back. Being Republican or being conservative, whichever one you want to profess, because you can be conservative and not necessarily be Republican. But it seems to be something that Black people just cannot do. And I kind of find it amazing because for the longest time, maybe I did. I probably did feel a little bit suspicious of Blacks who were saying that they were Republicans because, we all hear the stories. We all understand, what it's supposed to mean. I never really saw it as being, disrespectful or going against, the Black race because, I believe in thought. I believe in the fact that we should all be able to actually think about things and come to our own determinations of what it is that we believe. Now, for me personally, for the longest time, I just couldn't get down with the conservative message. And because I couldn't get down with it, you don't vote for it. And, now I find myself in this place where it's sort of like I've kind of become that person. And to a degree, it's kind of like, what do you do about that? Because now you're finding, with everything that has been going on, if you're Christian, you have one or two choices where you either take a stance according to your faith, or you, in essence, give up your faith so that you can allow the rest of the world to tell you what you're supposed to think. And I didn't want to abide by the world. Like, I've never been one to let the world just tell me what to think. Like, I don't believe most politicians, so I usually go on, you can't really trust that most of them are going to be honest, but you at least go for the one who is lying the least. And even, like when we started the war in Iraq, I remember thinking, well, of course I'm going to support my military because we're there now. And I would want every person to come back home. But that didn't mean that I agreed with Bush. And I remember having a discussion and being told, well, you have to follow the president. And, and I remember saying, like, I don't follow anybody blindly because I never have. And I still don't. To this day, I don't follow people blindly. I follow, my own thought processes. But yeah, coming to a place of being able to take a stance for something, having to kind of determine what it is that you're believing in and whether or not you're actually going to stand for what you believe in, kind of forces you in a place where you really have to decide. I knew I didn't like where the left was going. I just not at all am a fan of this progressive movement. I cannot stand it. I think it is ripping apart the very fabric of society. I really wish that it would go away, but I also understand that it's not going to go anywhere because the rest of us who have sense, who have rationality, our voice is small compared to theirs. And it's not that our numbers are small, it's just that they happen to yell louder than we do. And because they're yelling louder than we are, they get to be heard. And the rest of us, I've had these conversations all the time. Most people, because you either don't want to think that it's that big of a deal, or you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to be, assaulted by trolls and these individuals who are now just doing terrible and awful things. And you really want to laugh and you want to say, these are the same people who want to talk about peace, but your methods are extremely warfare-like. So are you really for peace, or are you for a pseudo-peace as long as you're in control? And I just couldn't get down with that. Like, I couldn't, like, I'll never be a feminist with this movement. Like, I refuse to play the victim. I'm not going to be a victim. You're not going to tell me that I'm being oppressed because I'm a black person. I don't care. If my personal experience has nothing to do with oppression, I'm not going to let anybody tell me that I'm being oppressed. Because again, rationality and thoughts and experiences and evidence should always be most important. And it's not nowadays. And I don't mind being a person who clings more to my Christian faith and clings more to my Christian beliefs, because you know what? I feel a lot better doing that. And I would much more prefer that than the anything goes. And I really feel like if we're going to go regressive, because let's be honest, this progressive trend is really a regressive movement. If we're going to regress to something, I would much rather us regress to a time where we were a lot more holy than we are today. So that for me is the thing that I really just had to come to. And I had to understand that if I wasn't going to deal with the left, because when your Democratic Party isn't even disagreeing on debate issues, and that's scary, because the things that they agree with are the things that I disagree with. So I can't vote for them. And I'm not going to vote for Hillary Clinton because she's a woman. I mean, forget that. I don't trust that woman at all. I don't think she would make a good president at all. And I know people say, well, she was the force behind Bill Clinton. Yeah, no, people. I think if you let that woman have any kind of real power, you will regret it. And I think that here in the U.S., we've done more than enough things that we regret. And I, for one, am voting for something that I am not going to regret. Hopefully. I don't know. But hopefully I'm not going to regret it. And just, I don't know, like, where do you go as a society when your only choices are, kind of out there crazy thinking and, rationality, because you would think that rationality would win, but apparently it isn't. Think about that. Are you someone who likes to do things your own way, or someone who just has an opinion on anything? You're in the right place. Because I certainly have never met a subject I didn't have an opinion on. And if you're that kind of person, then by all means, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I will be glad to have you.